Module 2 of the Postgraduate Certificate in Blended Learning. This presentation documents my journey in the role of becoming a digital leader as a complement to existing structures as we continue to develop and adapt a blended learning strategy for teaching and learning within the Essential Skills Department. It begins with an audit of existing practice to the development of an action plan, the creation of a community of practice, the implementation of the shared vision, and closes with an assessment of the impact of this intervention. The College produced its blended learning framework in February 2020 as part of their strategic plan for 21-24. A blended learning team was created within the Centre of Excellence to facilitate and support the development of blended learning throughout the College, and for this past 2 years the College has promoted asynchronous week before Christmas. At department level, digital champions were assigned for each area to assist with the upskilling of staff. The start of the journey, therefore, is where can I complement this and where can I make an impact? To ascertain both staff and students' confidence and competence in digital skills, 2 surveys were undertaken, one for staff and one for students. This research followed Cresswell's 1994 definition of quantitative research, where the majority of questions were multiple choice with few open questions, in order to provide statistical feedback that could be used to determine if there was an area within digital skills that needed further exploration. The staff survey concentrated on the use of digital platforms, the inclusion of apps within lessons, and a blended learning approach to delivery. There was a positive response to all these areas. 91% of staff perceived their digital skills as good or very good, with all staff surveyed using at least 3 apps within their delivery. The survey did show that the Canvas site is underrepresented as a learning tool, with only 27% of staff who actively direct students to it, even though all staff were willing to add asynchronous lessons to their scheme of work. A 135 action plan was created based on the audit's findings. The one big aim is the development of a blended learning Canvas site for the Literacy Department based around what was created for ICT. The 3 outcomes are ensuring students are competent and confident in using the technology and apps associated with the Canvas site, Gilly Salmon Stage 1, ensuring staff are familiar with e-learning apps and comfortable with asynchronous lessons, and finally, creating the blended learning course. The next stage was to create a community of practice with the shared vision of updating the Literacy Canvas site. It was important that each member was a volunteer. It was important that I became a servant leader encompassing their 10 characteristics. As a community, it was important we were prepared for the grease and the glue personality of our community. And finally, it was important that we were committed to our promise through collective ambition to provide quality e-learning opportunities for our students. The Community of Inquiry model was the overarching framework chosen to develop the asynchronous lessons. Feedback from students indicated that they did not feel supported while online, others felt isolated, and others lost motivation when they couldn't move forward. When designing the blended learning course, attention will be paid to the social and teacher-present elements of this model, as well as the cognitive. Everyone has an input in the implementation of the shared vision. The student voice was vital in defining the proficiency of skills necessary to learn in the blended environment. The staff voice was crucial in the feedback process, leading to continual refinement of the asynchronous lessons, and colleagues were fundamental in checking the validity of the action plan and robustness of the monitoring systems chosen. While the impact of the intervention was the development of tech-savvy students, digital literate staff, and engaging asynchronous lessons presented in Canvas, more subtle outcomes were the development of the community of practice within the Literacy Department, a bank of assessment resources for use in both synchronous and asynchronous lessons, and students who can self-evaluate and monitor their digital competency and readiness. Where to now? On completion of the aim of the 135 action plan, which was to adapt the blended learning ICT Essential Skills Canvas course for literacy with emphasis on asynchronous lessons, there's now a blueprint for this process, which can be introduced within other departments. The next step is to initiate this within the Numeracy Department, with a view to expanding to other schools within the college.